boys and girls. It's good being with you again this morning through video. And the good news is we'll get to see many of you beginning Sunday, May 24th. I'm sorry that we won't be able to do the children's story time on Sunday mornings, at least initially when we begin back. But Travis and I are going to work together to record and continue these readings through YouTube. So you plan to watch with us each week as we continue making our way through the Big Picture Story Bible by David Hem and Gail Schoonmaker. This morning we come to that story of Jesus restoring God's place. You may remember that this book tells all those wonderful stories of the Bible in a thread so that you began to understand how a big God made a big promise that he was going to restore the world to himself, including you and me. And he fulfills that in the Bible. And so we're reading and seeing how those stories all come together to show God's plan. Well, let's begin. One day, Jesus was walking through the temple. This was the place where people went to meet with God. This temple wasn't the one that Solomon had built, and it wasn't the one that Israel had rebuilt either. No, these temples had been destroyed hundreds of years before. Herod built this temple. The Romans made Herod king. Herod was clever and tricky. He built this place to keep God's people happy so they would obey him as king. While walking through the temple, Jesus saw men selling cattle and sheep and doves. Jesus saw other greedy men sitting at tables trading money. Seeing all this made Jesus angry. The temple was supposed to be a holy place. This was the place where blood sacrifices for sin were made. Instead, the temple had become a wicked place. People came to look important and to put lots of money in their own pockets. People were sinning instead of coming to be forgiven. What Jesus saw made him so angry that he did something about it. He tipped over the tables of the money traders, and all the coins scattered. He made a whip and drove out the sheep and the cattle, and all the doves scattered. And while he was doing this, Jesus demanded, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade." Oh, that made the people angry. And they yelled back as if to say, "Hey, who do you think you are? Prove to us that you are in charge of this place." When Jesus heard this, he raised his voice for all to hear. "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Well, at this, everyone got quiet. The leaders of God's place scratched their heads, closed their eyes, and they thought, "Surely this man is confused." And finally, one of them said to Jesus, "Listen, it has taken 46 years to build this temple, and will you raise it up in 3 days?" Jesus didn't answer. Jesus just walked away. He was right. The leaders did not understand what he was saying about God's special place. This stone temple wasn't God's place anymore. Jesus was God's special place. His body was God's holy temple. His blood would pay for sins. He was better than the places built by Solomon, the Israelites, or Herod. But on that day, no one understood Jesus, although there was a man who thought he did. Well, continue to join with us as we read about this big God who makes a big promise to rescue you and me. The Lord bless you and be with you.